Hi everyone, let's talk about O3, GPT-O3, OpenAI's latest model. Announced last week and it is already blowing up the rumor hit list. So what? It's an AI model that takes what O1 started and pushes it way further. If you ever heard about the hype that it can tackle harder problems in coding, math and general thinking, you've heard right. But it is all just talk, or does O3 really deliver? That's a funny question. At the moment, we are still in the beginning. Let's start with what made O1 stand out in the first place. It, it was decent at coding and could hold its own in math tests. Now O3 shows up and says, I can handle more complex reasoning. I can do everything better. Watch me crush all the benchmarks. And from the initial results, it definitely isn't shy about proving that point. Coding challenges that used to trip up O1 over O3 breezes past them. Math and science questions that were borderline too tough for earlier models, O3 tackles them in a way that actually starts to reassemble human problem solving. So remember, one big problem of AI models is understanding real world things where it does not find any data in his memory, in his big brain, in his training data. Okay, no problem. This is all about probabilities, don't forget. Not always working. Take the old strawberry problem. Remember, AI has always failed to answer the question about how many R's are in strawberry. It would be so simple, just count it. But this is not how it works for an AI. For an LLM, the word is just another multidimensional tensor field. And the AI tries to calculate the probabilities for the amount of R's, which is represented by a bunch of numbers in the tensor field. And this is not always working. Actually, it is not working. Why doesn't the AI simply count? Well, it needs a certain level of general intelligence to make decisions, the decision to count. In this case, for example, a capacity for abstraction. To a certain extent, it would have to understand that a specific task should not be processed with the help of probability estimates. So it's difficult. But this is the challenging part. And this is where O3 is coming into the focus. The buzz is coming from a test called ARC, RCAGI, created to measure genuine intelligence, basically asking AIs to think on their feet with puzzles they've never seen. O1 wasn't terrible on it. Well, O3 comes along and breaks a barrier that was generally thought of a human level performance. For a lot of guys, scientists, that is the moment where the jaws dropped. Because ARC is designed to catch AIs that's just memorizing data or pattern matching. O3 success on it suggests is doing something deeper. There's a bit of controversy, of course, about how much the ARC data O3 was actually trained on and whether that gives it an unfair leg up. But even skepticism about this is showing the kind of reasoning leaps we don't usually see from models using older methods. Part of that progress might be due to a new spin of reinforcement learning that lets O3 take more thinking time. That's one of the theories. Another angle is a system called deliberative alignment. We'll talk in the next video about this, where the model basically shows more of its reasoning steps so people can catch weird glitches before they turn into real problems. Well, scientists, not just normal people. Deliberative alignment is an approach to AI safety and alignment that goes beyond simple adjusting a model's answers based on human feedback, as it's done in RLHF or reinforcement learning with human feedback. So instead of giving a single prompt or letting the model produce an answer, deliberative alignment encourages the AI to break down and explain its reasoning process step by step, a chain of thought in a more transparent way. Essentially, it's about giving the AI a structured thinking process that humans, or additional AI systems can supervise and refine. So this is the big change. OpenAI is letting researchers stress test O3 with a smaller version called O3 Mini available too, before they let it loose on the world. That's a big deal, because with any AI that's powerful, you need to make sure it does not do something nuts or unethical at scale. So whether that plan will actually hold up once O3 is public is an open question, but it's definitely better than launching it cold and hoping nothing goes wrong. So is O3 the start of some great new things? Or is it just another model that will do neat tricks and fall apart in messy real-world scenarios? Actually, I don't know. That's a million-dollar question. It will be answered later in time, especially when it comes to actual thinking through novel problems. And it's stirring up a ton of buzz about what this advanced AI might be able to handle in the near future. For now, O3 looks like a big step forward, especially in how it balances brute force knowledge with actual reasoning. It's got people wondering if AI is about to turn another corner, one that could change everything from how we code software to how we solve advanced math, all the way to how we handle everyday tasks that hinge on deep understanding rather than simple memorization of data. Whether it really lives up to that promise, well, we'll find out soon enough. But one thing is clear, O3 is here and it is making a lot of noise. But don't forget, anytime an AI starts knocking on the door of a human-level performance, the conversation about is to get very interesting. People just cry, "Oh, general intelligence. AI is taking over the world." Guys, no. It is still an AI. It is still a large language model, and it is still making a lot of mistakes. It's getting better, yes? One interesting point also to consider. With the introduction of O3, GPT-O3, OpenAI introduced a new subscription model, which is slightly increased price. At the moment you pay about $20, 20 something for the normal subscription model. The new model is $200 per month. So this is a significant increase in the subscription, which means that it will separate normal people from companies or from people who can afford this. So this is another problem. And you also see that O3 is not that simple anymore. It's not just a money-making machine. It needs a significant amount of computing power, energy resources. So again, O3 is a game changer, but it will also change the way we access GPT models in future. And it really depends on the other companies who will introduce similar models, but it will be very interesting how they can perform in comparison and how the pricing structure will change or remain. Watch the next video. It's about reinforcement learning and some tricks and some techniques which are quite important to know.